Hello, Harden Middle School families. So if you were not able to make our COVID safety presentation today after school, we wanted to videotape it and also share with you so you can hear the information that was shared in our meeting today. So first of all, I want to introduce our COVID team. So we have Miss Bianca Andrade, who is our site administrator, assistant principal, and she is our site COVID liaison. We also have Miss Krista Wilson, who is our COVID monitor, and she is the one that meets with students if they are sent to the isolation room 310 because they're not feeling well. And I'm Miss McCulloch, Harden Middle School principal. So thank you for listening to this presentation and information today. Okay, so the first thing that it starts with is parent responsibility at home. So it's really important as a parent every day that you do a wellness check with your child. Make sure they don't have a fever, that they don't have symptoms such as the cough, sore throat, loss of taste or smell, head or muscle aches, nausea, and diarrhea or vomiting. If they are feeling sick, please keep them home. And please remind your students when they are on campus to wear their mask and wash and sanitize their hands. Every classroom has hand sanitizer. They should be sanitizing as they come in each class. So please check the wellness of your student every morning. Check in with them, make sure they're feeling okay, make sure they've had breakfast. If they're sick, please keep them at home. And if they have COVID symptoms, please have them tested. That's really important in ensuring the safety of all our students and staff. The student responsibility at school is to wear a mask at all times when indoors. So as soon as they enter the classroom, the hallway, the cafeteria, the locker rooms, they need to wash their hands and sanitize often. If they're coughing or sneezing into a tissue, their elbow, please make sure that your child does not share items with classmates. And then also an important thing is a refillable water bottle. So we are not allowed to use our drinking fountains at school because of COVID. And students get really thirsty after they've been running in PE or exercising hard, and it's important that they have water. So we do have water refill stations. We have 3 on campus. So please have your child bring a refillable water bottle so they can make sure they have water that they need throughout the day. If a student is vaccinated, currently per CDC guidelines, they can remove their mask when they're outdoors, when they're eating, or if they're playing outside together, as long as they're in a small group. If they're unvaccinated, they need to keep their mask on at all times, except for when they're eating. So what to do if a student has COVID symptoms? So if a student is feeling sick, they must stay home and they must get tested for COVID-19 even if they are fully vaccinated, because you could be fully vaccinated and still contact COVID and spread it to other people. So please monitor their symptoms, and then after they've been tested, if they have a negative test result and no fever for at least 24 hours and have improved in their symptoms, then they can return to school. If they have a positive test result, then they must quarantine for 10 days from the start of their symptoms. Wearing masks is very important on campus. All students and staff are required to wear a mask indoors. If students aren't wearing a mask, the teacher will talk with them and give them a warning. We will let the parents know if they're not wearing it correctly. Our COVID monitor will meet with the student to go over the expectations and why. And then there will be a meeting with an administrator and parents. It's very important that our students follow our expectations in wearing their masks. So this is one of the big questions that we've had from parents, and so we wanted to share with you our process for when there is a positive case on campus. So the first thing that happens is the COVID team visits the classroom and we inform the teacher. We look at the seating chart on where the student was seated that tested positive for COVID. And then from there, we look at every student that is within 6 feet of the student who tested positive. So those are close contacts. A close contact is defined by the CDC as someone that is within 6 feet or less for longer than 15 minutes. So they have to be seated next to the student more than 15 minutes to be a close contact. So every student who is a close contact gets notified. So we are sending out a text message to parents and guardians that says your child was a close contact, and that based on if your child is vaccinated or unvaccinated, we would do the next steps. On that text message, we also provide a link for the testing sites in Monterey County. If a student is a close contact and is fully vaccinated and does not have symptoms, then they can remain in school and parents would just monitor for symptoms. If the student was a close contact and is not vaccinated, then there's two options. They can remain in school if they don't have symptoms, and they must test on days 4 to 5 and also on day 10. And then they should show proof of a negative test result. If a student is not able to do this, then they must quarantine for 10 days. And then as a school, we also send an auto dialer message to the whole class, just letting every student and family in the class know there was a positive case in this class. But if you did not get a text message, then that means your child was in the class but was not a close contact. So if you do have COVID symptoms as a student, they need to get tested. You do not need to quarantine if you're fully vaccinated if you do not have any symptoms or if you've tested positive in the past 3 months and recovered. So there's different testing locations that are provided by the county health department, and we'll be posting this link on our website as well. So what happens when a student is at school and they felt fine in the morning at home, but now they're starting to feel ill? So the teachers will send the student within hall pass to room 310, which is our isolation room. So in there, Ms. Wilson, our COVID monitor, will conduct a screening, ask the students what symptoms they have, go through that list of symptoms like coughing, fever, and will determine if the student needs to go home, quarantine, or if they can return to the classroom. An example of returning to the classroom might be my stomach hurts because I didn't have breakfast this morning. So that would be return to the classroom, whereas my stomach hurts and I have diarrhea and I feel like I'm going to throw up, that would be they need to go home and they need to be tested. So I know one of the questions that families have asked is, how does my child stay on top of their schoolwork when they're home? So first, we want them to feel better, to rest up and make sure they're feeling better. Once your child is feeling better, then many of our teachers are posting the work in their Google Classroom so that students can go there and see what assignments they're missing and what they need to work on. Students can also email their teachers for the work so they can stay on top of all the assignments. Please allow 24 to 48 hours for the teachers to provide the work, as sometimes it takes a lot of time to make extra copies or different things that we might send to the students. So for families, so if your child has COVID symptoms, please keep them at home. Please inform the attendance office right away if they are being tested for COVID, and especially if they get a positive test result, as we then need to contact trace. So if they test positive, let the school know, and please provide a copy of the test and keep your child at home for 10 days, starting from the first day of the test. Okay, thank you, Harden families. I appreciate you listening to this information. We're here. If you have any questions, please email us or call us at the school. We're happy to help answer any questions as we work together to keep our Huskies safe and stay safe as a school site. So let's keep our Husky Pack healthy and strong. Have a great day.